It's officially cold season here in Canada. That time of year when the air bites a little harder, the days get shorter, and staying indoors just makes sense. And honestly, one of my favorite things to do during this season is to lock in, get cozy, and play video games. But here's the catch. As a Mac user, your options are limited. Gaming has traditionally been reserved for high-end Windows PCs or dedicated gaming consoles. I've made the decision to switch to macOS full-time, and guess what? I am not buying a gaming PC. Not now, not later.
Alright guys, so Merry Christmas, Happy New Year when it comes. I hope you guys are all doing well. It's snowing for me here in Toronto, so for the Christmas season, for the winter season, all I'll be doing is just playing a lot of video games, getting some work done. So I'll actually be spending most of my time sitting in this very same spot here. So today what I wanted to show you guys is how I actually get to play all these AAA titles on my Mac. So the computer that I'm using is the Mac Mini M4, a really powerful device. So what I'm going to do is switch over to my screen just to show you guys the software and everything that I'm using. Alright, so let's do it. What you're seeing currently is my monitor screen. I'm using an ultra wide, so pardon the aspect ratio, it's extremely wide. I'm using a 21:9 aspect ratio, I believe. Okay, so the software that I'm using to play video games from the cloud is called NVIDIA GeForce NOW.
The standard thinking has been that if you want the best gaming experience, you need a powerful PC sitting under your desk. But the reality is that building or buying a decent gaming rig today is incredibly expensive. A system that can comfortably run modern AAA titles at high settings with ray tracing and stable frame rates can easily cost around $2,700 or more. That price can climb even higher once you factor in a quality monitor, keyboard, mouse, cooling, and future upgrades. And the worst part is that PC hardware depreciates fast. The GPU you buy today won't feel top tier for very long. That's where GeForce Now comes in and completely changes the equation. Instead of buying and maintaining powerful hardware yourself, NVIDIA does the heavy lifting for you. Games run on NVIDIA's cloud servers using high-end RTX GPUs and are streamed directly to your device over the internet. GeForce Now offers multiple tiers, including a completely free option. The free tier allows you to play your own games with ads and an average wait time of about 2 minutes. That alone is incredible. You can literally play PC games without spending a single dollar on hardware or subscriptions. For those who want a premium experience, NVIDIA offers paid tiers that provide priority access, longer session times, higher resolutions, ray tracing, and overall better performance. Right now, NVIDIA is offering a holiday promotion that gives you 50% off the first month of a paid membership. That means you can try near high-end PC gaming for about the price of a coffee run. Let's put this into perspective with real numbers. If a gaming PC costs $2,700 and a top-tier GeForce Now subscription costs roughly $20 per month, that $2,700 could pay for about 135 months of cloud gaming. That's over 11 years. Even if prices change over time or you only subscribe during certain months, the long-term cost is still dramatically lower than buying and maintaining a gaming PC. And remember, there's always the free tier. You can bounce between free and paid depending on your needs.
So NVIDIA, they actually came up with a pretty sick service where you're able to pay a small subscription fee. So if you guys actually want to test this service out, now is the perfect time. Currently, I'm using the highest tier, so I'm able to play in 4K at 240 Hertz. However, my monitor is not a 240 Hertz display. I'm running at 120 Hertz. So let me go into settings here so you guys can see exactly what I'm working with. So if you go to gameplay inside the GeForce Now, you can see that I'm running at a 21:9 aspect ratio, 3400 by 1440p. So that's a pretty sick resolution. A lot of computers, they actually can't go that high. So to play at this spec that I'm running at, I would need to spend like almost $3,000 on a gaming computer. So this service for me is just perfect. All right, cool. So this service is pretty simple. All you need to do is to sync your library from Steam, Xbox. So if you have an Xbox Game Pass, you can pretty much sync it. Let me show you that here. So if I go to connections here, you can see that I've synced my Ubisoft, my Epic Games, Steam library, Xbox. So all the games that you own from all these various platforms, you're able to play right within GeForce Now, which is pretty cool. And what I really like about this service is that I'm also able to use my cell phone. If you have a device such as this, you can just play straight from your cell phone using this pretty sick controller. This is called a Backbone. For more information about this device, I actually did a video, so you can check that out. So once you have an internet connection, you can actually play on the go. Unlike if you have a gaming PC, which is just in a fixed position, and that's pretty much it. With this service, I'm also able to play on my smart TV. So I'll be showing you that a little bit later here. All right, so let's go ahead and try to play something. Currently, I'm actually playing Counter-Strike. So there we go. The game is actually loading. That was pretty fast. And believe me, the graphics on this thing is intense. Honestly, to the naked eye, I can't tell the difference. I'm not able to tell the difference that I'm actually playing from the cloud. And the latency is extremely, extremely good. Alright, so let's go ahead and start a match.
Want premium performance for a big release? Subscribe for a month. Just casually gaming? Use the free tier. That flexibility simply doesn't exist with physical hardware. The only real requirement for this setup is a reliable internet connection. Cloud gaming lives and dies by your network quality. If you have stable broadband or fiber, the experience is smooth and responsive. For most people with modern internet connections, the difference between local and stream gameplay is minimal enough that it stops mattering after a few minutes of play. So when I look at the full picture, the choice becomes obvious. I already own my games. I don't want to spend thousands of dollars on hardware that will age out in a few years. I want the flexibility to play on different devices without being tied to one machine. And with current pricing and discounts, GeForce Now offers an experience that's close enough to local gaming that the cost savings easily outweigh the minor compromises. This isn't about saying gaming PCs are bad. It's about acknowledging that cloud gaming has finally reached a point where it's a real alternative, not a gimmick. For me, GeForce Now makes far more sense than buying a $2,700 gaming PC. You're streaming the games you already own on platforms like Steam. That means your existing library doesn't become useless, which is a massive win. What really surprised me is how close the experience feels to playing locally. In hands-on testing and reviews, especially at common resolutions like 1080p and 1440p, it's genuinely difficult to tell that the game isn't running on your own machine. Input latency is low, visuals are sharp, and performance is stable. In fact, one reviewer said that during fast-paced games, they couldn't tell the difference at all until they reminded themselves the game was being streamed. There are limits, of course. At 4K resolution, with frame generation enabled, there can be some noticeable latency, especially in very demanding scenes. But for most players, especially those gaming at 1080p or 1440p, the experience is extremely close to native PC gaming. When you consider the cost savings, that trade-off becomes much easier to accept. If you've tried cloud gaming before, I'd love to hear your experience in the comments. Do you think this is the future, or are you sticking with local hardware no matter what? If you found this breakdown helpful, make sure to like the video and subscribe for more tech and gaming discussions. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.